We've all seen how the ideology of man has and is going down the toilet as time goes on, and more people are turning to the dark side and actively trying to diminish the severity of offences such as paedophilia, from the activists who are generally pedos themselves to the judges who dish out sentences for these abhorrent crimes. Well, here's another clearly far left and dangerous person in a position of power, letting the world know exactly what they think of people who they are supposed to be stopping from offending in a civilised society. Judge Brian Sharrard KC has recently told 36-year-old Cahill Patrick Feeney, a dangerous sex offender who was charged with rape and who police described as dangerous to females, to find a wife and start a family. Feeney met his victim on dating site Plenty of Fish, and on their second date the victim said she became uncomfortable with him. She left and went home. Minutes after arriving at her home, Feeney turned up. She did allow him into her house but told him there was to be no funny business. However, Feeney decided to ignore that and sexually assaulted her. At trial, it was heard how Feeney's own mother, grandmother and 8 other women had all managed to take out non-molestation orders against him. They also heard how Feeney had 67 prior offences with convictions including assault and breaches of court orders. Judge Sharrard said this marked him as a belligerent, drunken thug, a bully and a nuisance, and sentenced him to 4.5 years, although he had spent the majority of that time already on remand, and he was issued with a sexual harm prevention order for 7 years. But despite warnings from the probation service and the police that Feeney should be considered dangerous, Judge Sharrard decided not to prohibit Feeney's access to the internet to contact women with the sexual harm prevention order, suggesting that he didn't want Feeney excluded from normal life. In other words, the order, which could have and should have been used to safeguard women, is practically a useless piece of paper. Judge Sharrard told Feeney, "It's not the online contact which proved problematic, but rather the behaviour afterwards. You are still a young man. There's nothing that will stop you moving on with your life in a more productive way. Finding work or finding a wife or partner, getting a family and a home." Yeah, because there's no cure for being a rapist other than going out and getting your hands on more women. As you can imagine, the order was met with great criticism online, with one person saying his probation officer and police consider him to be a danger to women. 8 separate women have restraining orders against him. He met a woman on POF and raped her. But apparently it's extremely important that he isn't excluded from having a normal life, and he should go and search for another woman online, as she will be able to solve all his problems. Another said, "We'll find him a good wife, so it's just one woman suffering abuse instead of several." A third said, "He's not capable of stable relationships with women, and the judge seems to think he should find a single victim that he can lock up and victimise at home. For what? To save the rest of us?" We have all seen the lighter and lighter sentencing that is dished out to serious sex offender when it comes to our children, in what can only be described as an attempt to diminish its severity or seriousness. It seems now, in Northern Ireland at least, that women are no longer safe from the judicial system that's supposed to be there to protect them and us all. Judge Brian Sharrard KC needs reporting to the Judicial Conduct and Complaints Board over his actions, as far as I'm concerned, and for those of you who wish to help to put a stop to this cretin giving more rapists the chance to re-offend, the link to the Judicial Conduct and Complaints Board is in the description, where you can make your own complaint.